Well, it's a beautiful day in the Palouse here now, and I've been using Rita to haul some junk out, and I had a bunch of wood in the back and I was packing it down with a digger. Anyway, I managed to poke a board through the old mesh that was in the front of the bed. I'll show you a picture of that here. And so I got that mesh replaced with a very heavy duty grate 3/8 inch steel, all welded in there, so that's good. But I did blow the window up, so today we're going to try to figure out how to get that window in there. So here's a shot of the old weather strip. The narrow edge, which is on, oh come on, focus there, guy. The narrow edge, which is on your right, is the pinch weld. The wide edge on the left is the window, and down here at the bottom is the bead lock. So the idea is, without that bead lock in there, this piece can flex out enough to get the window in there. Then you get the window in and you just come on, push the bead lock back in. Simple, right? Well, from the few videos I've watched, it sounds like it's not very simple. So just for reference, here's the new lock strip. Pinch weld on the right, window goes on the left, and that lock strip will go in from the outside once the glass is installed. Okay, here's the window and lock strip from Chevs of the 40. There's the sticker that's on that. And here's the sticker that's on the lock strip. So I think the first step is to put the lock strip in around the window and maybe trim it to shape. So let me get to work on that. And so for safety, I've got the hoist up and I've got a piece of, I don't know, 6x8 or something wood in here. It's braced onto the bed and braced onto a cross member. And I took the pressure off using the valve, and so it's sitting on there, and that ain't going nowhere. Additionally, in case that did slip out some crazy way, I've got the valve in the stop position, so it couldn't come down even though it's going. So, okay, it didn't take too long for this to go sideways. Apparently, I managed to stick a piece of wood into the body as well. I'm not a body man, I'm not going to fix that. But if you look here, there's a big loop down. I've held the window up in, and there's actually a little gap here, but I'm going to try to rig up kind of a jack. So I've got a couple pieces of oak here with a notch cut in them, and I'm going to try to put the jack in there and just lift that up a little bit, kind of straighten that pinch weld out. We'll see what happens. Okay, what I've got is this jack jammed in the window, and if you look at the edge here, that little dark band that's 0 here and getting bigger, that's the outside sheet metal, and this lighter colored band is the inside sheet metal. They're supposed to line up, I believe. Anyway, without the jack in there, there's quite a bit of space of this shown out. So I'm basically going to jack up that outer sheet metal a little bit. You can kind of see I've pressed that out there. And from the outside here, it's springy enough that as soon as you let off the jack, it goes back down. So what I was doing is taking the hammer and just tapping a little bit on this, kind of allow it to take a set in the new position. Okay, so now I'm letting the jack off, and it still comes down quite a bit. Well, we're gonna have to call that good. There's quite a bit of room in this between the window and the glass. As you can see, there's like, I don't know, 1/4 inch, maybe 3/8 of an inch between the window and the glass. So I've just got that window setting on the pinch weld there, and there's a pretty decent gap up above. I don't know how this camera can focus on the tiniest bit of infinity when there's a whole bunch of close stuff in front of it. Anyway, so I'm just going to give that a try. I'm not a body man. If we ever restore this, I'll have a pro do that. So the whole reason I'm doing this video is that I did not find anybody else doing a very good video of how to install this glass with a bead lock. So sorry that I don't have a tripod and it's going to be basically a crap video. What I'm doing is I took about the center of the weather strip and I put it on the top, and I'm just pushing it up on the bead weld, which takes 2 hands, so I'm not going to show it to you. And then I'm going to work it around, hopefully, and get it around the corner. Okay, that's not going too horrible. You can push that pinch weld along. Here in the corners, you want to put a lot of force on it to make sure it gets all the way out in the corner. So I'm taking the pinch weld and pushing up on it as I'm using my other hand to kind of open that gap in the plastic and get around it. I don't want to put any soap or anything on this outer pinch weld, so I don't want it slipping around when we get up to the point of the glass. All right, so got this in here. There shouldn't be much of a gap between where the body metal comes down and that rubber gasket. Should be pretty tight. If you've got a gap in there, after you trim these ends, you're gonna end up with a gap here, which we don't want. So I think this is, damn camera. I think this is probably good enough here. I'll work it one more time, make sure I don't have any slack that can be taken out. Then I'll mark these ends and trim them. So I was trying to figure out how to cut that weather strip without ruining it, and I tried these. This is like a cutter maybe for hydraulic hose or cables, and it cut it pretty nice and easy, nice and flat and square and everything else. So I will use those once I get it marked and figure out where I'm going to cut it. When you're cutting those two ends that are coming apart from each other, maybe leave 1/4 inch of extra so that you have to kind of compress them so those ends will push against themselves. You could super glue them. There wasn't super glue around in the 40s when this truck was built, so I think just the physical mechanical pressure of those two ends pushing each other, provided you get a nice square cut on there, should be okay. Okay, got the first one cut, and I'm going to cut the second one about where my thumbnail is there. Okay, there's the overlap, and I'm just going to force those in so they're butted up hard against each other. Okay, there's those two ends pushed together, and you can see they're cut, but they're just pushed against each other with a little bit of force. So now the idea is to lube up this inner slot, lube up the glass, and get the glass pressed into this inner slot. And in theory, you can just pull back that. Since it doesn't have the bead in here, you can pull back this flange here and make that big enough to get the glass in. So we'll see. I don't know if you have to use a cord to get that to happen or just do it by hand or what, but we'll find out. So on the window, it's got a straight edge here, which is the bottom, and this curved edge, which is the top. So just so you know that it's not symmetrical vertically. You gotta have the flat edge on the bottom. Okay, from watching another video, I saw people using the cord, but they're using a suction cup to hold the glass. So this cheesy Pittsburgh cup, it just has these over center arms. It doesn't have the nice push buttons that pump up like commercial ones, but it seems to hold the glass good, and less than $10, so I figured I'd give it a shot. So I've got some soapy water in a sprayer. I'm using a power wash sprayer, but it's not power wash. I think it's just Dawn and some water, just enough to get a little foam going out to make it slick. And I've also cobbled in a cardboard box here because I'm pretty clumsy, and if I manage to drop the window, I don't want it hitting the steel frame rails and cracking up. I'll just have it can just land on this cardboard box, and that'll be a lot less likely to break it. Okay, so what we're doing is my assistant is pushing the gasket through from the front while I'm sliding it out from the back. It's all soapy. It seems to be working a little bit. Okay, after screwing around with that for 15 or 20 minutes, we're giving up on that method. What I'm going to do is I'm going to glue these ends together. Then I can put the weather strip on the window, wrap a cord around it, and use the cord method as if this didn't have the lock strip at all. So I'll get some super glue, get those clean and dry, glue them together, let that set up, see if I can get the gasket put around the window, then we'll wrap a cord around it, pull the cord through, kind of do that old-fashioned style. You're not supposed to have to be able to do this because you've got this lock strip, but we're not getting anywhere with the lock strip, or anywhere getting the gasket on, much less. We haven't even got the lock strip yet. Okay, I've got the gasket clean, the window clean, tape the gasket around the window, and now I'm going to try to use this Loctite super glue to glue these ends here. Okay, that's that done. So pulling back, let me think. The next job was to get some cord. I gotta straighten out this gasket, it's too rolled there. Get some cord in that outer string, and probably some more tape because the gasket's rolling up. Then overlap the cord. Then the assistant can push the glass from inside the cab, pushing towards the back, and then we'll pull the cord and hopefully it'll flip this out. It's got a lot of room to move because it still has that gap for the bead. We'll see what happens. Okay, I tried using frog tape to hold the gasket on. It didn't really work. The gasket really wants to roll over. This is the inside. It really wants to roll over to the outside. And anyway, then, so what I came upon is using some Gorilla Tape, which is really strong. And that leaves this gap here. The pinch weld is going to go in. We can stick a cord in that, I think, and pull that through to the outside. I don't know. This is definitely not the way this is supposed to be done according to anything. I've got the old Chevy books, and it talks all about glass on the body of cars, but it completely leaves out the truck. It was, 80 years ago. It was probably just old hat for anybody to do this. So I got to track down some cord, and then we'll see if we can get assistant will push this from the inside. I'll have the cord. I'll pull from the outside, and hopefully it'll pull that cord over the lip on the pinch weld. Okay, so I got the suction cup back on there on the interior pane, and this is the part that's going to be outside. And I'm going to use a screwdriver to push this cord deep into the where the pinch weld goes. Okay, so now I've got that cord in there. Look inside that gap, down into that cord's, well, it's buried pretty good, I guess. Can't see it. But anyway, the cord's in there and it's overlapped. The idea is we'll push this, and then from the outside, I'll pull on this cord, and that'll flip that lip up inside of the pinch weld, which is the way most windows are done with cords, and not the way this one's supposed to be done. But I need to find a way to get this window in here, and not being an expert, I'm going to try what I can try. Okay, so what we've got here is we put soap on the inside of this, and we got the cord all lined up, and I'm going to push the window up in there and hold it tight. I'll try pulling on the cord. Okay, pulling the cord out here. You can see as I pull the cord, it pulls the weather strip around. It really ripped it up there, though, so this might not be good. So basically, we tried the cord method to pull this slip out from the back. That did not work. It ripped up the weather strip some. So then we decided, well, we'll turn it around. And the big problem there was that on the inside, it doesn't have a recess like this that holds the window in place. So we'd start, but the window would get shifted over, and then it'd be way off on the other side. So we decided to pull it, use the cord method, pulling it in. That worked pretty good, but by the time we got it in all the way around, the window had completely popped out of this. So we worked and worked and worked on getting the window back in here, which is basically doing what the correct method is. Put the weather strip in, put the window in the weather strip. We finally got it. It was very difficult. I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that there's a dent here and it's pushed down and it's too tight. So now I'm going to try to put this bead into this 0 width crack around here, and I'm not very excited about that. So basically what I'm doing here is going around and pushing. Well, I tip this about 90 degrees, stuff it in the hole, and use the screwdriver to push on the other side. And it looks like it's going to be slow and horrible, but I think I can get it in there. Okay, it's been 40 minutes and I've made it from here all the way down to here. Man, that's some fantastic progress. Basically what I'm doing is I kind of roll the bottom edge in, and then I use the tip of this blunted trim tool to push the top edge in. Again, sorry I don't have a thing, but as you can see there, I've done maybe 20 inches in 40 minutes, so it takes 2 minutes per inch. Nice. Okay, so 4 hours later, I mean, I did take a break, but it's been 4 hours clock time. I have this cord pushed into there. That's not an easy job, even down in this area of the window that couldn't possibly be affected by the dent. So my advice is, if you're going to put a new window in one of these, either find somebody who knows how to do it, maybe has some better tools, or maybe buy the glass from Chevs of the 40 and the gasket from Chevs of the 40, and then see if you can find a local glass shop to actually install it. This was a bitch. I mean, I've put in a few windows, specifically a Volkswagen Bug. We did the front window and the back window. Those were like 30-minute job with no drama. This thing has been all freaking day. And I do admit that I do have this dent here, which has changed the shape of the frame. And it was super, super hard to get it pressed in through here. But anyway, it's all done. That's how I did it. And from the inside, it looks fine. Looks just like standard. So Rita gets a new window. Because that was such a crap video, I'll also give you another quick thing. This is a cheesy little TPMS unit from Scamazon, but it takes 6 sensors. It's made for like a RV or something. But it's really nice. It just monitors the things. I 3D printed a little wedge here underneath it to get it to where I could see it okay. This device is solar powered. It also has a USB port in case you want to keep it powered up in the shop or something, or you just power it with a battery bank or something. And then in case if you're not familiar with these, it just comes with 6 sensors. You unscrew your valve cap, screw that sensor on there, and I've got them on the rear wheels. You can see that one there on the rear wheel, and on the front wheels. So basically I can watch the tire pressure at any time and know if I'm running a flat. I mean, I could kind of tell in the last flat I got, because it felt a little squishy when it's fully loaded, but it turned out one of the inside duals had a hole and was completely empty. Also new are these boxes here. They're just Vevor boxes, and to mount them, I just mounted a 1/8 square tubing to the frame, and then inside the box, the box is bolted to that 1/8 square tubing. And I use some angle irons up top to spread the load out. The boxes are aluminum. They're not super, super strong. That's a good mount. And when I got that flat, I took the old split rim wheels down to the local shop who worked on them. Well, I bought new tires 22 years ago, and they're the guys who put them on. Anyway, the rings on there are something, there's something about the wheel that was too far gone to use anymore. So they set me up with these tires. These are 255/70 R22.5. They're a modern, I believe, radial tubeless tire. And we found some wheels that work. The wheels have a slightly bigger hole in the inside. I think it's like 4.25 on this, and the hole is, or 4.75, and the hole is 5 inches or something. Anyway, I went to the local laser shop and had them cut a ring out of steel to get those hubs centered. And then just to make sure there wasn't any weirdness, I also 3D printed some little plastic, they look like spacers, they look like little pieces of tubing, but they go right between the stud and the wheel. And it's not like, they're 3D printed plastic, so it's not like it's going to give them a bunch of strength or anything. But what it does do is it makes sure that the wheel is properly aligned when you torque those nuts down. And there's the front wheel, same deal. Interestingly, the front wheel has 5 bolts and the back wheel has 10. Of course, the wheels are identical, all having the 10 holes in them. Just there's that ring that comes from the factory, and it's got place for 5 bolts. So sorry for making probably the least informative video of how to replace the back window in a 41 to 46 Chevy truck ever. Not happy with how it worked out. I mean, it'll do the job, but the gasket's kind of beat up where I tried using the cord on it. And man, it was nasty. I ended up spending the whole day working on that. Anyway, thanks for watching. There's just one more quick picture of Rita Mae. Beautiful 1946 Chevy truck. Been running loads to the dump with it.